Yo, what's happening? Sopendua here from Car959 and Podcast and Chill, the biggest podcast in Africa. And shout out to the next biggest podcast in Africa, That Z Podcast. Can't wait to join you guys. Peace.
So there's K plus Ludo, Christian. Who else, son?
Dun 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 dun
I bet you guys have so many questions.
No. And this is the thing with the guests who come on the podcast.
Yeah.
I also just align this with the leg.
Nigga.
Thank you. The thing was, Chimweka.
Yeah.
A lot of people come to the podcast think we sit down to prepare questions or.
Yeah.
No.
I know that feeling. Like, so, what do you want to ask?
No. You see, the format is to just have conversation.
Yeah.
Let's open the microphones and let's see where the conversation leads us.
Where it goes.
Pretty much, that's it.
So you're telling us about your PA?
Yeah, so she just helps me out with a lot of things.
Like?
My events, my...
Did she help
Hey,
you?
do you wanna help me with the glass there, Chimweka?
Yeah.
So yeah, you thank you. So you were telling us
Go,
about...
just take those coasters. They're branded with the wrong brand.
You were telling us about what she helps you out with?
Yeah.
Because she got a lot of ass.
I've heard that a lot.
I'm sure you knew that too when you hired her.
Well, she came to us as a recommendation.
What, they know your type?
The type of people I want to work with, yeah.
You like working with people with ass?
I mean, if she's appealing, it sometimes can be good for business.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one, there's
Paul's
one
gone.
time.
I think Jack mentioned that he's got another.
I hope so.
There's one time
This guy
Costa
deals in
got
inverters.
an Indian lady to be the sales manager.
It helps with the business, yeah.
It helped with business.
The fridges
So
are on.
some of those. I told you it's in the back of the back.
Kumbuyo.
Not the back seat, the back.
So, what kind of relationship do you have with the PA?
Can you
Like,
shut
Nelson talk to her as well. Like, talk to her. Is that like her business? You don't mind?
Well, I mean, I know that she's in a relationship, so
Oh,
So
right.
it's up to her to say no then.
yeah. And I think that's up to her. She does it on her own.
Yeah.
Sometimes she'll be like, "Hey, I'm not comfortable
With what?
with these people because these people are talking to me." So you know,
So
you go
who
to.
should be telling this to? Should be telling who?
No, she'll be telling me like, "Hey, so maybe like you're with people, you're chilling, or you're at
No,
an
but we
event."
But how are the fridges on? How are the fridges on?
What are you saying, Gob?
Are we okay now? Jack, we're good.
Gob? What's the story? Wait, that's the one that we bought, right?
No, that's Gobs. That one is at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You want to ask the PA question again?
No.
Okay.
He seems too protective of her.
Yeah, no, because I mean, she's sort of new into this whole thing,
What thing is that?
this whole media entertainment business.
Yeah, but it's a job.
So
It's a job.
and I know how crazy it gets. You meet people like Elson,
Who are like what, honest?
well, who are ready to who are in
Mingle.
for a good time and not for a long time.
Okay.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You know,
This ginger ale is actually pretty good.
I haven't had a good time.
Oh, also, I mean, K Plus doesn't drink either, right? You don't drink,
he
right?
does.
No, I'm
I
off,
don't.
I'm
He
off
does.
alcohol now. Guys, there's a bit of wind. Just put those on the mics.
Have you met Flopboy before?
No.
No. No, we've met before. No, yeah, I remember him, yeah. 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 Explains a lot.
Which show was that? Which event was that?
Yeah.
He's the one who was talking to you.
It should have been, what's the name again?
Oh, I think that's the same episode where we were on. Yes. I think it was the same episode.
Anywho, let's start the episode now. Flo Kid, thanks a lot for coming through. You can tell from Elson's excited face. This is his excited face. It's like a V12, huh? No, V8. You can tell from Elson's excited face, he's happy that we finally have a sponsor who's giving us a long-term contract, something we can plan around properly and, officially get excited about. Brothers. I think by the time of airing this episode, the announcement has officially been made. The partnership is on. And you're going to be seeing Brothers a whole lot more going forward on That Z podcast. And let's enjoy it. Wherever you see it, supermarkets, whatever store, get a few Brothers for yourself. And remember, the mocktail is one of the exciting things that has happened at Trade Kings recently. The mocktail, dude, I was trying out the mocktails at the office.
Yeah.
Delicious stuff.
All right, yeah.
Really good stuff. And for you, who's a teetotaler, you don't take any alcohol at all, this is one I think you're going to enjoy. Still tastes like any great cocktail, but without the alcohol percentage in
Fucking
it.
incredible.
Yes.
And they'll be giving us a couple of these to take home, innit?
Mm-hmm. So enjoy Brothers with us. The Brothers are enjoying Brothers.
Your PA, though, bro.
Yeah. She seems very hardworking, isn't she?
She works on weekends?
My job involves me working on weekends, so sometimes, yeah.
She comes to your house at times?
Funny enough, because I recently moved, so she hasn't been to my
Why did you
my
move?
new place. Sorry?
Why did you move?
New beginnings. You always find find a place you like. You
What
move.
was the old thing that you had?
The old place,
No, you said new beginnings. So what's the old thing that you moved from?
like neighborhoods.
Oh,
I
okay.
think you need a
okay.
new beginning.
Okay.
Sometimes you need just new neighbors. Sometimes, so yeah.
I think this begs the question: how does your wife take this?
Take what?
Having a PO looks
Having
good.
a PA like this.
Also because she's new.
Who's new?
The wife?
The PA.
All right, okay.
The PA is new.
But doesn't answer the question, though.
What is the
how does
question?
How does
wife
your wife take it?
Take this.
Well, I mean, I had a PA before. I had a PA before the current one, and yeah, she wasn't comfortable.
Did she look like this?
Is she comfortable now? Do
My
you feel
PA
his
before?
wife is comfortable with you? She looks
No, hold on. I want to hear this from Chimweka. So has your wife seen her? What's her name?
Her name is Jean.
Her name is what?
Her name is Jean.
Oh, she's dying.
Jean.
She's
Yeah.
laughing
Are you
her
lying?
ass off.
No, that's a real name. That's a real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your wife.
Do
has
you
met
like her?
Jin?
You seem like you like
Yeah,
her.
he really likes
Elson.
her.
Well, she looks good.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So is your wife okay with you working with a girl like this?
I mean, she understands my work.
But
She
is she
understands
okay
my.
with it?
Not 100. Not 100. If I'm being honest, not 100%.
So you don't care how she feels. You just go ahead, hire who you want.
I mean, there's so many things that happen in our entertainment business that I think our partners don't get comfortable with. K Plus, you can obviously relate
I
to that
can
to a certain
relate. I
extent,
can
but
relate.
So who wins, your job or your wife?
it depends the extent of the situation.
So if she's uncomfortable with you working with somebody like that, who wins?
It depends. It really depends.
With what, in this case?
If you're able to justify that nothing extreme is really going on,
Then how do you justify that?
I think there's women have ways of finding out. Women have a way of
How do
always
you
knowing.
justify that? Never mind
I mean-
how she does it.
I mean, there's been nothing really sinister going on. So why would she complain. Of course, a woman will be a bit uncomfortable, but yeah.
Women have that sixth sense where she can tell.
Exactly.
Even like when she comes to your workplace.
Yeah.
She can tell who you're having. If this is your work wife, your wife's gonna pick it up.
Exactly.
But even with just say like I can tell you, women pick these things up easily. They know from vibrations around. She knows who's having anything with you.
Does that happen to you?
Yeah, once or twice, like where she just has a feeling like
there's something weird here.
And was she right?
Well, right in the sense that maybe you've got a closer friendship with one female than the others, and your wife picks it up. But I don't like. But you know what I mean?
I feel like women have this thing where, for you, it's something innocent.
Yes.
But they're able to pick up that this person likes you. Yeah. You don't really feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. So what did she pick up about Jin? So what did she pick up about Jin?
I think she's able to pick up that, like you say, she's got a very good physique. I think she's.
So do you think that she thinks that Jin likes you?
I mean, women will feel like that, but sometimes you just have to justify.
So she's picked that up.
A few times.
And do you think Jin likes you?
I think we have a very cordial relationship.
Do you like him?
Do you like this man?
And she looks away.
And she looks away and she giggles.
Where are our manners? Dude, you know what we've been doing the past few episodes? Which is bad.
We have not been introducing ourselves.
Just get straight
Where
into
is this arrogance coming from?
I have noticed from the Q episode that people were saying the guy sitting in the middle.
Yes. No names, nothing.
So listen, where's my camera? Is it that one? Know who to be pissed off at. I'll introduce myself. Because more times I notice me that you're going to be pissed off at. My name is Uncle Elson. So know who to direct your anger at.
Elson?
Elson. E-L-S-O. Not just Elson. Don't disrespect me like that.
My name is Kalenga, also known as K+.
It's K+, baby.
Yeah. And our guest today is one you've probably seen on Diamond TV. He's got a show, which is actually a podcast. It's called On the Table?
Yeah.
On the Table.
Yeah.
It's got On the Table. That's on Diamond TV. On Radio Phoenix, you're doing the breakfast show now.
Yeah.
That's a big show.
Yeah.
Really big show, man. There's a lot of intelligence being exhibited on that show, especially how you dissect news stories. I think we were discussing this the other day.
Yeah.
How, whenever a breakfast show host changes,
yes,
there's a bit of antagonism with the listeners. They want the previous guy all the damn time. It takes a bit of time
for people to cursing.
It takes a bit of time for people to sort of like warm up to the new guy, and I'm sure you're getting that right now.
I mean, it's a bit. You always get that. But I think I've learned how to navigate something like that, because one of the biggest challenges I had when I went through that really deeply was when I took over Chi show. So
now those were big shoes to fill.
Yeah, those were very big shoes to fill. So Chi was at Hot FM, then he moved to Phoenix. He was doing the 18 to 21 hour show, and I had to take over from him. And he's already.
Is that the guy with the dreadlocks?
No.
Very
short hair, Chi.
Yeah. Oh, the one with the dreadlocks I think you're talking about is the one who's doing the show I was doing, Bugsy. So
who did we have? Who did with what's the girl that Michi? Who was?
Yeah, so Bugsy was doing the show with Michi.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, their show was more entertainment. I think it was lighter. And I think what we have now is it's got current affairs. Well, it's got a lot of current affairs. It's also got its light moments. So, and I feel like that obviously appeals to different demographics. You have those who want to listen to the current affairs and those who are comfortable with the lighter. So the ones who still ask about the previous hosts are the ones who felt like, you know what, we need a light breakfast. We've had too many current affairs programs. But then there's also the demographic who say, hey, breakfast should be about current affairs. We need it to be, a certain type of way. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, this is fine. We can work with this. So it's been a bit of both. But I think generally, I think we're happy with how people have received us, and we're grateful.
Do you host this with anybody, or?
Yeah, so
Is it with Jean?
You know what? Maybe she must try. Maybe she must try radio. But maybe TV would be good, because I think Elson would definitely be watching that show. So
I wouldn't watch it for her face.
But yeah,
you'd want the camera guy to zoom in more on the bottom half of her, wouldn't you? No comments. Anyway,
so yeah, Wait, what was I saying about?
No, I had
what was it
asked
about?
you if you're on the show
Oh
alone.
yeah. So
or-
I've been doing the show with Amina. I don't know if you
Kaunda.
guys, Amina
Oh,
Kaunda.
that girl is well spoken.
Yeah. So
She's working with Emark, hey?
Yeah. She's been the communications person.
It makes sense. She speaks so well.
Exactly.
Her work has been cut out for her because the way Emark is being dragged on Twitter every other week, it is incredible how hateful people are. Every other week, somebody comes with a complaint. Whatever the complaint, some girl says she took her laptop and they formatted a hard drive. And they got dragged for that.
Wait, who formatted her?
Emark.
Wow. Okay, I'd be pissed as well. There's so much on my hard drive, bro.
But I mean, it's what comes with the territory, really.
No, but then
For
again,
Emark, yeah.
look, at the end of the day, what you also need to realize is there's a lot of stuff that happens, especially when it comes to tech. Some things you can't salvage. And this is why you always have to partition your hard drive.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, true.
Some things you can't.
Well,
especially when it comes to IT and technology and hardware.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's got a work cut out for her.
But yes, she's embarking on a new journey. I think by the time the show is airing, I think should have made her own announcement that.
So what, is she leaving your show?
Yeah. So
She's got no ass? Is that
wait,
what you're asking her to
she's
leave?
getting her own show.
No, she's leaving radio.
Why?
She's going into corporate world like full time.
Into the copper belt.
Corporate world.
Oh, right.
Corporate world,
Is it like a PR job?
I think it's in marketing, but I think she'll announce better more on
Right.
what she's doing. So I will have a new co-host by the time
Dude, can you
the show
PA
is
please sit
airing.
in the car? This is distracting.
In fact, she must get closer because I need a refill of my drink.
No, that nigga can do it.
Dude, so
Oh boy.
you're on TV.
Yeah.
And you're doing more than just on the table. What other show are you doing on Diamond TV?
So I used to do the breakfast show on Diamond TV, 6 to 9.
Right.
I've been doing it for like 3-4 years. And when I got the offer to be on Breakfast on Phoenix, I said, hey, I've always wanted to be on Breakfast on radio. It's been a dream of mine, which is a bit coincidental because your dreams are literally cut short because you have to wake up earlier than usual every day. But when the opportunity came, I had to drop the Diamond Breakfast. And I now have On the Table, which is every Sunday at 17. I have a show called The Weekend Marathon every Saturday. So it's a breakfast, but Saturday morning. So I'm still up on a Saturday morning. And I do a show called The Real Time Newsroom every Wednesday at 12 hours. So those are my active shows. But away from that, also at Diamond TV, I'm in charge of promotions. In terms of, it started like last month. So those are part of my responsibilities at Diamond TV.
So on the table,
Yeah.
what inspired this? Where did the idea come from? Apart from this goddamn podcast?
Actually, On the Table, I've been doing it longer than your podcast. I've been doing it longer than Elson has been doing this business. On the Table started in
I'm messing with you.
in ideally 2016.
Ideally.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2016 is when we started, but it only went on air in 2017. So yeah, I've been doing the show since then, and yeah, I think within the entertainment circles, it established itself, but I think it grew more. I feel honestly, late 2022 into 23. I think that's when it got its highest numbers, its highest ratings.
Why do you think that is?
I think I also understood better how to market and promote shows. And I think that's why I was also given the position I was given in terms of promoting shows at Diamond TV generally, because my focus has mostly been on promoting my shows. And you know, when you stay in the industry longer, you get to learn the ropes around things.
Right.
You know who to talk to, you know where to throw something, how to caption things, you learn all those basics, and they begin to work out later. So I think that's what happened to On the Table. I put all those things in place. When you ask people questions, you ask, oh, okay, how do you manage to do this and do that? And people who've been there longer than you tell you. You learn a lot, and when you put them into practice, it works.
So is that why you up Chile One's name? Because you wanted to caption it that way and get like...
You know, the story about Chile One. So for those who missed it, on the episode, Chile One was called Chule One. And I knew that, oh my goodness, when I saw that mistake, I knew that it would be taken out of context. But
You wouldn't do that to your maps?
wouldn't do it for anybody really. Would never do it for anyone really, especially not deliberately. You know what I mean? Because so what happened is, I mean, it's like you guys. Whatever happens, if the team behind the scenes misspell my name, you guys get the blame for it. Whatever goes on air, you guys get the blame for
Not
it.
really, because they don't really take us seriously anyway.
Yeah, but they'll say, hey, this guy is that podcast, hey, Elson and K Plus, oh, this and that. So you get the blame. It's like when you're a CEO of a company, a CEO of a bank. Is this some good luck or what?
Yeah, it should be.
So if you're a CEO of a bank, whatever happens, even the president, whatever happens, anyone can complain, oh, these roads here, and they'll say, oh, the president, because really the back stops at him, right? So that's what happened with the whole Chile One and Chile One situation.
So it wasn't deliberate.
It was never deliberate, and it was a mistake. We actually even addressed it. There was some internal consequences there, but obviously the public won. Not really fired, but there were some action taken. So so it was nothing deliberate. It was nothing personal. In fact, I've interacted with Chile One several times after that. I know some people feel like we have permanent beef with some of these people that we interview and all of that, but you find that we're really cool. We get along and we meet. I've had actually another interview with Chile One after that moment, and it went well. So it was nothing personal.
Dude, how many things are you doing? You're on radio, you're on TV.
You're an MC.
You're an MC. Are you in any other business, right?
You are Gene's boss.
So I mostly do TV, I do radio, and MCing. You know, it feels like sometimes, it does feel like it's a lot, and sometimes it doesn't, because I know people who are doing more, especially when you go outside the country. If you look at media personalities in South Africa, in the US, you find they've got
Notice how she cannot sit
a number of
down.
things.
Can you notice how she can't sit down?
She's receiving too many phone calls, probably some of my bookings.
Exactly.
Yeah, so so you get to multitask, and you also get to realize that the industry we're in, you need to do that for you to survive.
Yeah, true.
You need to do that to survive. It's how we make our money.
Dude, you are pretty accomplished. On the table.
Oh wow, thank you.
Wouldn't be what it was if it had a different host or if you weren't there, right? How much of that do you own if things go belly up, for example?
Yeah.
Will it be a case, this belongs to Diamond, pack your shit, leave, we're going to get somebody else the week after? And yet, when people think of that, when people see that set, it's you that comes to mind.
Yeah. At the end of every show, you see it's written copyright Diamond TV. So that is property of Diamond TV. Excuse me, it belongs to Diamond TV. In fact, Diamond TV even just are very open to some of us even using their content on our personal platforms, because at least we are given the liberty to also share the Diamond TV content on our personal platforms. So that has also helped in building our personal brands. Yeah, so there's that. And also because we also utilize the platform that is there, which is the Diamond TV platform. I acknowledge the fact that a lot of people knew me from Diamond TV, the same way a lot of people also know me from Radio Phoenix. So it's almost a win-win situation. Maybe even more so for Diamond TV, because you gain the acknowledgement you get from the platform, and you also get paid for it. So, and your job is to supply them the content. So that's how it works. So to answer your question, on the table is Diamond TV property, no matter what.
Can I just plug this place real quick? Sorry, Elson.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this place is called Pine Cone. It's on Nalikwanda Road in Woodlands. Jack, this is Nalikwanda and which road? Mwapona. Yeah, at the corner of Nalikwanda and Mwapona in Woodlands. And I think it's quite a cool place. It's still coming up. They're still making the place.
Is that the owner?
Yeah, that's the owner, Jack Mwape.
Okay.
He's still doing the place up, but I like the fact that I can have car seats outside in a beer garden and
Wait.
enjoy.
Oh, okay. No, I thought of someone else. I thought that was what's Mtanamanza's ex-husband's name? But it's something Mwape, right?
Mwape, yeah.
I think it should be Jacob. or something like
I
that.
think
Anyway,
one of those, yeah.
So I thought it was him.
So it's a
Yeah.
really cool place. They've got good food, wings coming up, cold drinks and stuff like you can see on the table right now.
Shisha.
We're enjoying brothers from
As
here.
you
They've
can
got
see on
shisha
the
as well.
table there.
I see what you did there. So
Slow
Come
down,
through.
slow down, slow
Come
down.
through.
This is not how you talk.
I'm just trying to
Slow down.
cruise through this.
Jesus, man.
Dude,
Breathe.
dude,
Kalenga.
excuse me. Dude,
No.
you've got
What's wrong with
Dora Slay on your channel.
Yeah.
What's that about? And I asked that because does she have like her own show?
Do you
or
do
what?
tongue push-ups?
Wow. Wow.
You were saying?
Yeah. So Dr. Dora, she's actually Dr. Dora now. She
Wow.
got her doctorate. So yeah, she does have a show, but I feel like some people do not know much about her. I think Bonnie knew her as a politician.
Yeah,
and-
because the first
Yep.
episode, the sound was
Yeah. No, I think the first few episodes actually were bad, but it was controlled. Yeah, the last couple of episodes have been pretty good. The last one, anyway, I don't know when this is airing, but there was a recent one with Ntale Mwanza. She was interviewing Ntale
Yeah, I
Mwanza.
saw that on your channel, yeah.
Yeah, so people do not know that she's actually a journalist by profession. Yeah, so she does have those qualifications. She used to be a newscaster at ZNBC. Yeah,
So many years, yeah.
she does have that background. So there's nothing strange about her even having her own talk show. And I think she did very well to make it non-political because it's not a political show.
I was about to ask, does that affect the station in any way, especially politically? That
Yeah, because
Doris
people
Leah
expect
is doing
that, but
program, yeah.
I think she went a different way. She's gone. She's doing more candid conversations, heart-to-heart conversations.
It's pretty much a podcast as well.
Yeah. What? Also, I need to understand what's the definition of a podcast? Is it when you have these mics, then it's a podcast?
No. I think, well, by definition, when you look at Wikipedia, they're talking about a podcast being any organized content that's
Because if you think about it, then on the table, even Dr.
on the
Dora's show
table is a podcast.
because
it is.
I mean, I've been having those conversations. All we did was change the mics.
I never
is a
started calling it a
podcast.
podcast.
Actually,
it's been a podcast
I never
from whenever
call
it
it. I've
started.
never called it a podcast.
But it is a podcast.
What platforms is it available?
It's available on television, on
YouTube.
on Facebook, and on YouTube. Yeah.
It is a podcast. It's just recorded content organized for people to listen to after you've done the shows.
But the content has been so. Unless you're saying it's always been a podcast, and
no,
I just never knew
look
it
at it
was.
this way. Even Trevor Noah's daily show.
Is it available
When
on audio?
No, it's not.
Because you know the word
not.
podcast comes from iPod.
And
Because the
broadcast.
Apple iPod and broadcast.
So, and that's the thing. So it's typically it's a broadcast, except it's broken down in different forms, which is for YouTube, and pretty much what goes on Facebook is what goes on channel, because it's literally just a live stream of what's on TV. So I don't know if adding microphones makes
No,
it a
no, no, no.
podcast
Like-
now.
like I told you
because
the
that's the only
definition.
difference that has happened, I think, in the last few months. Otherwise, those conversations have always been like that.
Like I was saying, you record the content and put it in organized files for
Yeah.
people to consume later. It's pretty much the new definition of a podcast. So, like I was giving an example of Trevor Noah,
Yeah.
The Daily Show. When they air The Daily Show, the following day, it's packaged on Spotify, YouTube as a
As
podcast.
a podcast.
But you know
which is
you know
called
why?
the ears only.
You know
The ears
you know
only
why?
podcast,
For countries like Zambia, the truth is traditional media is slowly dying, especially TV. So
Everywhere, Chimweka, not just Zambia.
Yeah, so the only way for traditional media to survive is to work hand in hand with social media.
what's coming in,
So
yeah.
we've gotten to realize, especially now, there's load shedding, right? So you can't always think that, oh, this episode of On the Table was watched on TV. You have to break it down for people on social media. And you know, people on social media only consume content, especially on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They consume in smaller versions. You know, even you guys, you wouldn't do your podcasts the same way you distribute them on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, right? Maybe YouTube is a different platform altogether in terms of, so you have to break it down to suit the different platforms. And that's why Diamond TV expanded into Diamond Media. It's not just Diamond TV because it's not just a television station. So there's also revenue being generated through social media platforms. So it's more than just TV now. So we embrace all platforms.
Dude, there's something I found quite relatable that Mix Kasamoa posted. Gob, I think you can have them on the screen as well.
Talking to yourself. That's what you're doing.
Gob, did you see how many people complained on the Q Dube episode? Because the images didn't pop up on the screen?
Kidube is funny.
No, like Eventually, I think, well, to his credit, I think he ended up putting like
Oh, they were there.
Benny Mac,
yeah.
Richard Pryor, Celeste.
Yeah.
You say what? Yeah, well, bruh, every name, but I shouldn't have had to be the one to send them. Every name that was mentioned, you should have just had the image pop up, though.
Okay, Gob, for the first time in your life, you finally did what was asked in terms of images on the screen.
Mrs. Gob did not rub your head as you were working this time, did you?
Dude, you mentioned quite a number of things that you do, and a mixed post is something that, like I said earlier, I found quite relatable. And he said, and there's an image here where he sort of labels the things that he does, right?
Yeah.
And he says, a lot of people have made me feel bad for being diverse to a point I started feeling like I'm a failure because of it. But I took time to do research and found that a lot of great personal brands and corporate brands diversify, create or buy different brands. Anyway, he goes on to talk about how people have been attacking him for doing too many things, and it's sort of confusing. And I think... Focus, Elson.
I'm not the one that's talking here.
Yeah.
Notice how he gets distracted and
then
he
he
puts
puts
my
it on
name
you.
in it, right?
Focus.
Floboy, please tell her to not take a seat. She's disturbing the
No,
lads here.
don't stop moving her.
Because she's moved so many times here, for real, though. Maybe she likes Elson, too, and she wants him to...
Does that
see
make
her.
you feel jealous, Chimweka?
I mean, it's a personal life. I don't want to interfere in her personal...
Okay.
You know? But I know she's got someone in her life, so if
She's got someone what?
in her life.
in her life.
Is that you?
No.
I'm the person in her life.
Can you let the guy respond? Is that you that you're talking about who's in her life?
In her work life, yeah.
Okay.
She's been saying she's got a man.
He could be the man. He didn't tell us who the man is.
Yeah. What were we saying? Versatility, right?
Yeah, so I was reading Miss Kasamo's post, and he was
Yeah.
talking about how a lot of people have been attacking him over how they feel it's a little confusing where they see him doing this, they see him doing this, and blah, 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 blah. I think even the meeting at Trade Kings, you brought, not Trade Kings, one of the meetings, I think we were talking about Bombshell, and he said it's a bit confusing when you see people attaching themselves to this brand and that brand and that brand and blah, blah, blah.
It was the meeting at MultiChoice.
Yes. Now,
Oh, yeah.
you're doing 3-4 things, whatever you're doing, right? Do you feel as a brand or as a growing brand, people should just know you for one thing and you should just excel at that one thing? How are you making your brand work?
You know, I've also heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot. And for me, my aim has to be to break that chain. If you notice in Zambia, if you're going to be in the media space, it's either you're a current affairs person or you are an entertainment person. But I think I'm one of the few who's branded himself as both, because I'm grateful enough to be booked for a corporate event. I'm grateful enough to be booked for an entertainment event. And the work record has been able to show for itself.
Right.
So it's something I'm grateful for. And it's been my aim in life. That it doesn't always mean that you have to stick to one thing and you can only be good at that particular thing only. I think it's possible to expand. Not everyone manages. I know others have tried, but it's not worked out for them. And others also realize that, hey, this is what works out for me. This doesn't. So I'll stay away from that. But I've heard that before. I've had these conversations even with people like Costa who tell me, the general feeling, especially from broadcasters of the previous era or generation, they feel that you have to have like one niche. You either have to be only a TV person, or you can only be a radio person, or you can only be a concert type of MC, entertainment MC. You can only be a corporate MC. And it works out for people. I mean, I've heard very valid arguments. For example, that the surgeons that make the most money are the ones who specialize, right? If you're going to be a surgeon who deals, I know they've got names for all these things. If you're a surgeon who deals solely with the heart, you find that this surgeon makes the most money. If they deal solely with the ear, they make the most money, more than the general doctors do. But I feel like if it's able to work out for you in your different ways, then it's good. Besides, when clients are booking, they know who they want to work with.
True.
So if they feel you're not good for this kind of event or whatever, they'll stay away. If people feel you're not good for radio, I mean, there's certain people who've tried to do both TV and radio. It's not worked out, and they're told, hey, stick to this, and maybe this only works out for you like this. But I feel it's possible to be versatile. And
Of course it is.
yeah, but
People that have a problem with it are not able to do it.
Yeah.
And because they're not able to do it,
They
don't
project.
want you to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why on my Facebook
Look at
profile,
Kanye West.
on my Facebook and Instagram profile, I recently updated and I put Zambia's most versatile events MC.
Actually, you are.
Just to show people that, I mean, it's possible. It's possible, and don't let people tell you that it's not.
Dude, you're a popular TV face. Let me talk about the perks of being on TV. Like, what's the best you've ever experienced? And what's the worst that happened to you because of being on TV? Being a face on TV. What's the biggest
Which
door
one should I
that's
start
open?
with, the worst or the best?
Let's start with the worst.
Okay, so the best. I think the best is really, to be honest, it's really. I think there are a lot I can mention, because when you're on TV, generally it's easier for people to trust you, business-wise. You're able to get bookings where the client will pay you in full, even months before, because they feel like, I mean, we know where to find you.
I've been getting those as well.
And you have a reputation to keep, so you don't want to mess with us like that. And it's true, you don't want to do that, and I would never even do that. So, I mean, there's that to it. Even with family, I think it also helps, because, I mean, you will go for family events, and you'll be able to you interact well with family. Family gets to appreciate the work you're doing, and at least you can tell that they're proud. You make family proud just by the fact that you're on air. So there are those perks. I mean, also sometimes you meet some of these men and women in uniform. Even when you go, for example, to a public place, sometimes you have people, whether they're in the queue, who volunteer on their own, like, hey, feel free, or you get some of those perks, and you get to appreciate in times like that. So,
but you do abuse it as well, don't you?
Actually,
roadblocks.
I actually never.
Speed traps?
I hate doing that, because there's some people who in Zambia it happens a lot where people also pretend like they don't know you. So you never know, and it can be quite inconveniencing. Just the whole process can be conveniencing, so you don't want to go through that.
What do you think they're pretending?
Sorry?
Why do you think they're pretending they don't know you?
I think people feel like if you let Elsa know that you know him, you'll grow big-headed.
No, they genuinely might not know you.
No, I've been in situations before where, I mean, after everything is...
Isn't that arrogance to assume that, I think he knows me, but he's pretending he doesn't know me?
You know how? You can tell sometimes somebody will be... You've probably gotten this a lot. Someone is staring at you for a while.
Yeah, I'm good looking.
Oh, you think so?
I know this.
Isn't that arrogance as well?
That I'm good looking?
To assume that you're good looking?
No, it's confidence.
But what makes you think you're good
confidence
looking?
as well, and why do you think yours
No,
is
but
not?
then again, assuming that this person knows me, but they're
No,
acting
he's
like
justifying,
they don't.
saying a person has stared at you for a while, and you can tell they recognize you.
Hold on, there are people who are not famous who get stared at. So getting stared at. So
He
getting
was
stared at.
explaining.
Hold
He
on.
hasn't finished explaining.
No, hold on. Getting stared at doesn't mean that.
But he's
somebody
explaining.
knows
You cut him short.
So yeah, exactly. Because I was about
No,
to
he
explain.
asked me a question. He says, it happens to you. Then I said, no. He had asked me a question. Are you part
So
of this
people don't-
goddamn podcast?
Okay, let him explain now.
Okay, yeah, let me explain. So, I mean, I've had situations before where you will be around certain people, and I mean, they'll only tell you after, maybe when you're about to leave, they'll hint towards something, And for me, sometimes I get that a lot, where when people say my name the right way, then I know where they knew that from,
Isn't it a Zambian name?
It's a Zambian name.
Yeah, but the K is like a G, right?
Yeah, because my first name is Tonga.
Wait, so how do you pronounce your name?
It's Chimweka.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's Tonga, right?
so it's
Sounds
Chimweka.
French.
Well, then maybe Tonga sounds French. So yeah, I mean, there are times like that. Of course, it's not all the time that you always be recognized. I mean, there'll be people who absolutely don't know you, and
That's
it's
what
perfectly
I
fine.
was driving at.
Yeah, it's
That
perfectly fine.
I feel.
But you can know when people genuinely don't know you, and
How do you know?
I think sometimes also from the conversations you have with the person, and just generally how they treat you. When somebody recognizes you, they sometimes they conduct themselves sometimes in a different way from somebody who doesn't know you.
Which way is that?
Sometimes you get somewhere, for example, if it's an eating place, you just it's just certain way. I think I can't explain it very well. I think over the years you're able to just tell that, okay, here I'm at a place where people do not know me, and sometimes you feel like, okay, let me misbehave a little. I'm
I
free to
struggle
do
with
so.
it, right? Because somebody walks up to me and says, "Hi, Elson." to this day, a couple years in, when someone says hi, Elson, automatically my mind goes into a place where I say, I am supposed to know who this person is.
That's all of us.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
So I never assume they know me from the podcast. So there are people that are gracious enough to say, no, you don't know me, but I know you from the podcast. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then we interact that way. But when somebody walks up to me and says, hi, Elson, automatically I think, oh, they probably know me and I'm supposed to know them. So I don't want to be an asshole and say, who are you again? So I try to play along like I know them. But yeah, like I said, there are people who then say, no, I know you from the podcast. So the minute that I meet somebody and I interact, my mind doesn't go default to say they know me, but they're acting like they don't. But because the default for me is I've been not known much longer than I have been, right?
Oh yeah, I get you.
So my default is I walk into a restaurant, ain't nobody knows me. Unless they come to me and they say, I know you.
Exactly.
And if they stay, I'm not going to assume they know me from the podcast.
And you know how else I know? People always send me a message after in my inbox.
DMs, yeah.
They'll be like, I saw you. You're like,
I'm going to show you this. That happens to me. I was at the airport.
You now get my point, right?
Like
So
you
the
couldn't
situation
say
like that,
hi
they couldn't say hi.
in person,
And everyone is minding their business, and you're thinking. And I get sometimes also when I'm out of town, you'll be somewhere and you're thinking, hey, okay, I'm out of town, but they'll send you a message after and say, it was good seeing you at this place at the car wash,
That happens to me, and I don't know why people do this. I got the most. I don't know if I told you that. I got the most random DM where this woman says, I saw you at the airport by the carousel, but I couldn't say hi to you because I was standing next to my husband.
And others, to be honest, they say I was shy, and others won't tell you anything at all. They'll just be like, I saw you at this place, and that's it. So yeah, I mean, it's okay. People have their different reasons, right?
Dude, but do you get like random, like uncomfortable offers from women, for example?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
How do you handle those?
To be honest, I mean, one thing that we also get as people in the media, and for me, I think it gets worse because people say light skin, whatever. People always assume that you are a womanizer. You are all about you.
Yeah, and you look the type.
So that's a stereotype.
Light skinned guy.
Yeah,
you look the type.
I
Many
get
people's
that a lot.
opinion. Yeah.
Are you a womanizer?
I actually am not. I'm a one man kind of person. If I extend, probably two.
You still married?
Well, I'm married to my work.
That answers my question. Is this mine?
Yeah. And people say you've got kids all over. Is that true?
I actually want to have a lot of kids.
So they're prophesying this into your life?
I have 4 kids, though.
All right. Okay. Just like
He's
me.
got 4 kids too.
For real?
Yeah. As a Bali, say.
His ex that he went to high school with, which was an all-boys school,
Yeah.
has got 4 kids too.
But of course...
He went to an all-boys school and his girl went to the same
It's
school.
not an all-boys school. Come on.
Okay, to put it also into context, I mean, 2 are... I don't know if I can say biologically mine, but 2 are my brother's kids as well. So I've got 4
Where's
kids.
your brother?
Sorry?
Where's your brother?
Where is my brother?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by where? Like, where is
Like,
he
why
right
are
now?
his kids with you?
Oh, no. They are with him, but I mean, he treats my kids, I treat his kids like.
So why are you counting them as yours then?
I mean, they're mine. Traditionally, they're mine.
No, they're not. They're
Yeah.
your brother's kids. He's alive.
Anyway, we were raised like that. So even when his, I mean, it's very rare if I'm taking my kids, my biological kids, to the park or something. I'll most likely I'll take his kids as well, and vice versa. I mean, he even goes to church with my daughter.
I think it's good for them to go that way.
We do that a lot. So we count them as such. In fact, sometimes it even gets so crazy that the youngest person in our family is also treated like one of ours sometimes, So
Youngest sibling in your family.
Yeah, like my young sister.
How old is she?
I think like 12, 10, 11.
So she's treated like one of the kids, like one of your kids and one of your brother's kids.
So we add her there because she's almost in that age group. So
okay. How old is your first?
My first kid?
Yeah.
She's turning 6 in July.
Oh, okay. Around the same age as my son.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my
How old are you?
I was waiting for that question.
Always come now.
Before I answer that, how do I look, eh?
Bruh.
No, like honestly, I'm trying to get somewhere.
31, 32?
Elson,
36?
you guys have got to be kidding me.
Well, are you much older than that?
I don't know if you guys are being sarcastic or...
This guy. You
now,
asked.
now I don't know. So funny enough, when Jonah and I, because we came into the media space, I think professionally around the same time, would get the same
Are you the same age as
situation.
him?
I'm 1 year younger than him.
How old are you?
I'm 26 this year.
What?
Yeah.
How old is Jonah?
He's 27.
What the kind of bad life have you niggas had? You niggas had a rough life.
You think so?
What do you mean?
I think it's a good thing. You know, before I used to hide my age, and that's why I asked that question. I used to hide my age before, but over the years, I got to realize that there's a lot to be proud of than really hide.
Jonah
I
is
think
27. Wait, 28 years old? You said you're 27.
I'm
26.
26, so he's 27.
He's 20.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is...
Wait.
I think it's not even more about the look. It's the way you guys behave, the way you carry yourselves. I think you're way more mature than your age. Because at 26, I was to play.
It has got nothing to do with how they act.
It's a
lot to do with
how they
what?
act.
How you look.
No way. Actually, I feel like I've got a baby face.
Excuse me?
I feel I have a baby face.
Who told you this? Jean?
No, I actually think I've got a baby face. So I feel like, anyway, you're not the first ones to say that. We've gotten that a lot, but I think it's more because of what we do and what we've done over the years. But otherwise, I mean, for Jonah does look old.
He does look old.
Jonah does. I don't think I look old. I think Jonah does, but not me. I don't
Jonah
think
looks old.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we are young and yeah.
So, I'm guessing you're getting like multiple checks from Diamond, right? Because of the number of jobs that you do there.
Yeah, I mean, promotions.
On the table,
Okay.
rate.
Yeah. I get what you're trying to say. Wait, what your question is? We're getting a lot of checks from.
Do you get like multiple checks?
I mean, okay, now that gets into the nitty-gritties of contracts.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
It's either yes, I get one salary, and they say today you're going to be the security guard. Tomorrow you're going to be.
But of course, for every it's like a promotion. So when you get promoted at a workplace, anywhere you work, your salary gets to be increased because of the increased responsibilities. So for the responsibilities you have, the more money that is added to
How many
your
things
salary.
are you doing at Diamond?
Apart from heading promotions, I host my TV shows.
Which ones?
I've got On the Table, I've got Weekend Marathon, and I've got Real Time Newsroom.
So that's 3.
That's 3 shows.
So do you get 3 different paychecks, or do you get one paycheck for doing?
No, so that's the thing. Again, that's why I was saying it gets to contracts is because you are given targets. You've got KPIs. So if you're told, okay, with this job and this amount, your target is to do to deliver 3 shows a week. So that's your KPI. So it's put together as such. So you are paid for the 3 shows that you do.
So instead of hiring 3 different people, would you be 3 different separate paychecks? They'll hire one person and say, do 3 shows and pay you 1 salary.
I mean, that's almost like working as a media consultant, because I also do media consultancy as well. So it's the same as, it's like, why should you go and work as K Plus, as a pod father? Why should you go and work for ZRA when you can have a contract from ZRA, from Prudential, from wherever? You can have different checks, but you're going to have one job and you focus on that, right? So it's really up to, it depends on how you look at it. Funny, because I was asked that question earlier today. It's like, Chimweka, are you sure you never want to work for government? Are you sure you didn't just want to work for... And I told him, like, that's also a good offer, depends on how you look at it. But you can also diversify your streams of income with for example, media, right? You have that opportunity. So, I mean, that's one of the things you have to deal with when you work for somebody. You have a packaged, You have a job that's put in one, and you have that one salary. But again, with the media, it's very flexible. I'll be able to do that, and I'm still able to do everything else that I'm doing. Yeah.
Dude, how can you... I'm not only asking about you, but people in your position generally. Are you able to truly, really hold an opinion of what you think and your job at the same time?
Hey, it's hard, and it's hard
That's
because
what she said.
Yeah, so I think what makes it difficult is so I do both radio and TV, and people think it's the same. That's the biggest problem. People think it's just one and the same, but the truth is it's not. And I was able to know this because one person I've been working with, because Amina was leaving, so I was working with my colleague Vida. I don't know if you've met Vida before.
Yeah.
So
Vida Cafe.
Yes. So she was sort of like, she was a guest presenter on the show, but she's never done radio before. She only did TV, and we noticed something when we were doing our post production, and that for me made me realize the big difference between TV and radio. So TV is more of, you give information of what's going on. This is what's happening, and this is also happening, and you just link certain situations. But radio has a lot of randomness where you give your opinion about things. You just say something that really came to attention. So radio has taught me a lot to give my opinion, and that's what people relate with, because when you give your opinion, people then begin to know how they feel about you.
Humanizes
Absolutely.
Whether they hate you or they love you.
Absolutely.
It's through those opinions. But TV is different. So, I mean, once in a while, I do that onto TV, but you have to be a bit mindful, because TV is not really formatted that way in terms of you giving your opinions, unless that's the show. If the show is just designed for you to give opinions, then you can do that. But ideally, it's not. So opinions always, they can get you in trouble sometimes. Sometimes they work out very well for you. And I mean, I've experienced both. I've been in trouble for my opinions.
What opinion got you into trouble?
Actually, when I think about it, by in trouble, what I mean is people reacted very badly to it.
Yeah.
And
what opinion got people to?
I think a lot of it is politics. I think a lot of politics, because the truth is, people of whatever political party, when you say anything about them and their leaders, they will not be happy. So if I say something about PF, the supporters won't be happy. If I say something about UPND, they won't be happy. One week, I'm a UPND cadre. The other weekend, I'm a PF cadre. And I'm thinking, if only I could get checks from all of them, then people think I do,
Are you not?
I'm absolutely not.
Okay. Would you like to?
No, actually. No.
So if you are asked to come and MC at a political event, would you say no?
If I was asked to MC, I would. But when I say receiving a check, I don't. What I mean is not being paid to give an opinion against the other or for somebody. But if you talk about MCing, I think I would. Okay. I know it's controversial for some people, but I think I would.
Got family feed, dude.
Yeah.
Elson and I, while we do this with cameras on, I'm a bit uncomfortable with cameras on.
Who's uncomfortable?
Both of us. You have stated this. Let me finish my point.
We are both uncomfortable.
Can I finish my point?
I want to hear this.
You can.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Kalenga. Could you finish your point?
I'm asking him a question in this.
Where's the PA? Oh, you guys started to sit down.
Stay
Now
there.
she's not
Stay
bringing
there.
the ice.
Now she's not bringing you ice.
Oh, is there ice in here?
Yeah, there is.
So go ahead.
I was saying, while we have this podcast running with cameras on, right? Him and I are a bit both uncomfortable. Which one works easier for you? Like, which one are you more comfortable in? Radio or on camera and TV?
This guy absolutely loves the camera. He loves it.
And I'll explain.
Okay, I asked myself that question, and I never ever get an answer because, okay, the truth is TV. TV is my first love. I started doing TV at the age of can't remember how old I was, but I was not even a teenager. So I've been on camera. Of course, I took a break for a couple of years because of school. But I've been on TV since then. So I've gotten very used to the camera.
Serious, eh?
I've gotten very used to the camera. So But what I love about radio is because I love a challenge. So doing radio for me was like, okay, this is a new challenge, and I love the openness that comes with radio. So it's very difficult to say which, but I feel I'm comfortable with both.
I'm more comfortable
with the camera
on radio
because that was your first love.
Yeah, first love to date. Still my love.
Yeah.
I think one day I'll go back to radio.
But you see, I once had a moment, and
Elson thinks I really love the camera.
Because you do.
I once had a moment, to be honest,
Can I explain?
where and some people don't even know this. I had a moment where I almost quit TV.
Why?
You know,
You had a sunburn?
I think I just had I had some frustrations with TV. I was just like, you know what? Maybe it's about time I thought of venturing solely into social media. You know? I thought about it for a while. And it took a lot of sitting down and thinking about before I changed. I actually even went to my supervisor and communicated this, that I actually think I'm gonna quit. But I'm fortunate that I have the right people around me who advise me accordingly, and yeah, I stayed. So that moment made me think. To answer your question, it made me think: do I love radio more now, more than TV? Made me think about it. But I think there's still a lot of benefits from TV. I know people say TV is dying.
There's more benefits,
but there's actually a lot of benefits from TV that people don't realize.
Which is why, like even for this podcast,
yeah,
I know while Elson will think I love the camera that much, I prefer to have the cameras on for a particular reason.
Yeah.
Okay. We started this in 2018. We recorded episode 1 of the Para Girls. We shelved it for almost 3-4 years because I felt I'll never have the confidence to speak in front of a camera.
Oh,
ever.
Yeah, I heard that story, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? 2021, we feel, let's try this again. You know what I mean? I had just moved to Lusaka and we feel, let's try this again. And the major reason why I would have done an audio podcast, but I moved to Lusaka and I felt to knock on people's doors and you get to talk business to the face they don't know, it was going to be hard for me. You know what I mean?
It's always difficult.
It's always difficult. For you, you can go into any office. Dude, everyone in Lusaka knows you. You know what I mean?
Hey, when you put it like that.
You can go to a bank right now, you knock on that door, somebody in that office is going to go know Chimweka. And you're going to have a smooth flowing conversation because somebody knows you from TV and whatever.
No,
yeah, true story. That's my experience, bro. Let me talk about my experience. Let me talk about my experience. Can I talk about my experience?
No, your experience is valid. I can't take your experience away from you.
That's
my pushback.
Why are you interrupting my story now? Let me finish. Like Chimweka, I can give an example of Chimweka.
Yeah.
You would go into any office because people know you. I used to have difficulty when I come to Lusaka. Knock on people's doors because I don't know you. You have to set up appointments. You get that appointment. People are not giving you the attention you feel you deserve. But somehow, from the time we started this podcast, things have slightly, well, not even slightly, like changed a whole lot. I can now enter more offices. And because people have seen my face on either TV or this podcast, I'm getting better response now. And it's working for me.
So what my pushback is...
What's your pushback?
My pushback is it depends with what you're talking to them about. So when you say the conversation is smooth... So if you go to them and you say, I want to print something for you, of course there's no risk.
No, but maybe his point is they'll give you an
will they give me attention?
I
don't know me.
I 100% hear that.
That's my point.
The smooth part is depending on what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
you know what I mean? It depends with what your preposition is. So you could be Yo Maps. If you're going to go in there and you say, I want to handle your cybersecurity, they will listen to you. But then they will now begin to interrogate your credentials.
It won't be a smooth
So it depends. That's what my pushback was.
But again...
so you can walk into a...
I'm talking about my experience.
But
and the things I've proposed. I'm not going to go into an office and propose something that I'm not strong in.
And that's why I said it then depends.
And that's why I said my experience.
But
did you hear when I said... Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you hear when I said I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to argue about your experience?
I've listened to your rebuttal.
Hold on. Did you hear when I said I can't argue or speak to your experience? You heard that part?
Yes.
So I'm not taking anything away from you. But my point is, it also depends on what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
And I said the things I talk to them
As
about
you were,
are things
Chimweka?
I am strong
But
in.
I feel like it's also the power of the platform.
Exactly.
Because again, in as much as I've been doing TV, and I remember you and I had a conversation about this earlier in the week where the people have come up to you and say they know you from elsewhere, not even the podcast. Right?
Yes.
I get that a lot also with radio. Like, you're doing TV, and my first assumption when somebody makes it clear that they know me is that, it's probably through TV. But then I also get a large number of people, a good number of people who know me from radio. And I think it's because of the platform, because, Phoenix is a big platform. It's, for me, I think it's the biggest privately owned radio station in the country.
Yeah.
So there's that to it as well. And I've been in situations before where, I walk into the place, the person doesn't know me until maybe I write my name or maybe I speak. They'll be able to hear that. I don't know if you experienced that while you're in the Copper Belt. Because you're also on a very big platform on the...
I was, yeah.
The
first commercial radio station on the Copper Belt, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's just the magnitude of the platform. You guys have done a great job with this platform. So
True.
It's grown itself that, people are able to recognize you guys.
I think in this life, you need to recognize what your strengths are and play more to them to make a success out of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I've found is my strength is what we're doing right now. I'm a presenter, and even with this podcast, I feel the camera is on. It helps me more with my other businesses when the camera is not on than when we do an audio podcast. You know what I mean?
So I'm sort of the opposite.
Okay.
Big shout out to Stanbic. I've been running a business for about 4 years now. And they came on board and we're making amazing strides. One thing that I say this to Komba. We were together in Livingston. One thing that I absolutely despise is when you walk into a boardroom and people recognize you from the podcast. I don't like it.
Especially corporates, right?
I hate it. I'll tell you why.
Because they have a certain perception of you.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
Two is now I'm about to sound arrogant.
Yeah.
I'm a lot smarter than I come here and appear.
I was about to say that.
All right.
I feel like people do not. I feel Elson is a very well accomplished person, and people do not know.
No, he's a very, very smart guy. Can't
People
take
do
that
not
away from
know
him.
that,
So, so why I say I hate that is because the minute that I went into a bank and people were like, the guy from the podcast, and I didn't like that because I feel they now lower me to a certain standard.
That's I get you.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I say, I'm not here to speak about that. Can you hear what I came here for?
And in their heads, they sort of
And in
hear
their
you
heads,
cursing
right.
on the podcast. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's got very little to do with the cursing, but you're the guy with the thing and you're on TV, and so that really irritates me.
Yeah.
To a point where sometime last year I wanted to stop doing it because I didn't want it to. It's something that I did out of a passion because I like meeting new people.
Yeah.
Like you, I like speaking to people, but the 3 companies that I have are front and center of everything that I do.
Yeah.
So sadly, this thing has become bigger than me. Where it doesn't matter where I go and what I want to talk about. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the podcast.
Oh, remember that episode with Q Dube?
Bruh. Yesterday I got invited to... Yeah, you can, yeah.
It's a clean one, yeah.
Yesterday I got invited to some guy...
I bet Q Dube was Elson's idea, right?
Yes, it was.
How did I know?
Because we sound the same.
No, but he was really funny. I think that was a good one.
That was...
The response that we got, bruh.
Dude.
The response that we keep getting now. People that I never... CEOs of multinational companies have been sending me clips saying I could not stop laughing.
No, he's really good.
Even on my Instagram, I've noticed both the Instagram for the podcast and my personal one, there's been a lot of following from Kenya. And earlier this week, Elson and I couldn't figure out why we're getting so much response from Kenya. And it turns out one of the biggest TV stations in Kenya posted that clip on their Instagram account, and they were courteous enough to tag us in the post. So it got a lot of attention in Kenya. Now we're getting all this following on Kenya.
Man is international now.
Yeah, because the whole week we've been wondering, why are there so many comments from
My
Kenya? You know what I mean?
It has been incredible. Yeah. But yeah, Yeah, that's sort of what my fight, my dilemma has been.
Yeah.
But look, we take it in the stride, and it's had its perks. Work-wise, in my personal life, it's had its perks. But yeah, for the most part, I don't know.
Well, which one weighs more than the other, from your experience?
What in terms of
Like perks and cons?
the cons are only in my head.
Okay.
So people mean well.
But I
You know what I mean?
sometimes wonder for Elson. I mean, for you, K Plus, I understand.
For me, people know me as the media guy, but for him,
Yeah,
it's sort of
because-
affecting his corporate work.
Because
You
for
know
you,
what I mean?
it drives into your other businesses. Like you are more passionate about the DJing. I don't know if you also do MCing.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you benefit from that, but I don't think that's Elson's type of thing.
So it's like same podcast, two presenters. It's sort of affecting me more positively, and affecting
yeah,
him,
right.
him negatively because he has to sit in
He's got
boardrooms
that, yeah.
with
Right.
the corporates and suits.
Right. And again, it sort of it sort of goes to, somebody said, this guy's gonna be cancelled. And I sit and I laugh. And I think if I was employed, yes. If I had a boss, yes. But where you own your own the only times that I get uncomfortable is when I meet with banks and I wanted to do, I can't say names, man. I wanted to do something with something which is owned by the IDC. Let's start there. I walk into the boardroom and immediately the CEO knows me because of the podcast.
And already has a perception of
And
you.
he has a perception of who I am.
The guy who always cusses, the guy who, yeah.
So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey.
But I like that. I like people who are able to know, look, when the time is right, because even the Bible says that, right? Like, you need to know the time for everything. And obviously when you're on the podcast,
Yeah.
it's time to be, Uncle Elson.
Right.
But then you have like your other moments where you're in your corporate persona,
Right.
you're in your,
Right.
but some people don't understand that out there. Even when people meet you away from TV, sometimes I've got people who've told me like, you see more fun on TV. You see more. I'm like,
Funny you mentioned that.
you see more fun on radio, and
I was listening to the Kevin Hart interview on the Joe Rogan podcast. And he was talking about, I would love for people when they meet me at the mall, on the streets, to just talk to me like a human being. They expect me to be funny, even when we meet on the streets.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Trevor Noah said that, like, expect you to crack a joke.
Exactly. And I just love to be myself. And it shocks people that when we meet in person, I can also just be a chilled person. I want
Yeah.
to talk about, stuff that's happening on the street.
Yeah.
People want to hear a joke.
Yeah.
I think it's the same for you where people see you on TV where you're doing your job, you're in your element. You're supposed to entertain on TV. And when they meet you in person, I want you to be that entertainer instead of a human being that they can just talk to.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and yeah, I think, but you understand them. And the truth is that because people see you so often, they feel like they know you, they feel like they're in your life, and they're that
Right.
person to them.
Right.
So, I bet you've also gotten this where, but look at how we're talking we're just talking about like known people problems. It seems like that's what we're talking about
But
now.
the worst is
like,
where-
have you experienced a moment where that's
I
what
think the worst is where they meet you at the mall and
Yeah.
Oh, I want to send this to
Chimweka.
my cousin.
Yeah, exactly.
They they'll just start talking to you. Don't introduce themselves. And just have a conversation with you. But I think
It's a fun
guys
thing.
are used to that. Like a guy can be at a bar at the car wash and have like a 3-hour conversation with someone he's just met there.
Absolutely.
So
In fact, the
guys
first
are used.
gig that I got, the first major gig that I got, I'm in a barber shop, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting my hair cut, and the guy sitting next to me, we started arguing about Israel and Palestine. Then we moved from there. We started talking about technology. It got to a point where I never told you this story. I told Wallace. It got to a point where we're both done with our haircuts, but because the debate was raging, we stood in the barber shop for 2 more hours. He says, "Nigga, I want your number." I gave him my number. He says, "Come to my office. We need to finish this off tomorrow."
Wow.
I went to his office. It was supposed to be a 30-minute discussion. I went during lunch. It turned into 2 hours where he kept canceling meetings.
Just for this debate.
For this debate. And he happened to be the CEO. I can't say names, but
Yeah.
I ended up getting my first major contract
You know,
From there.
I've had that with a few.
people don't believe that you can actually get a deal from like a bar or some chill spot.
That's where deals happen.
Dude, deals. And
Deals
I told my wife,
happen
I
at-
need to leave the house at 17 hours to go meet people. That's
Deals
what the deals
happen
happen
at
now.
The
dude.
woman at home will
courses,
never understand that.
no.
Not when you've got a PA like her.
Wow.
Oh, man,
you know,
our viewers want to see this PA now.
You know what I find interesting about
Yeah.
the both of you? Like, you're a very interesting contrast in certain aspects.
In all aspects.
In all aspects?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Chimweka.
you...
Chimweka, let me tell you something before you finish your sentence.
Yeah.
We are exactly the same. I'll tell you what the difference is.
We are not
One
the same.
person-
I am a Martian.
Carries on who they are, whether the cameras are on or off. The other person totally changes when the cameras are on.
But if there's one...
God, don't you think Elson changes when the cameras are off? Does Elson use the F word off camera? No. When the cameras are on,
No, like, trust me, Elson, I've seen for myself, Elson is... and just maybe to warn people, when you meet Elson off this podcast, he's not who you think he is on the
No.
podcast. You know, it's like he's a very serious person about life and all of that. In fact,
A very
you should actually
responsible
have,
father.
if anything, tap into his wisdom off these mics and
Here's the thing.
cameras.
I want to mislead people. I want people to think life is easy.
listen to this contradictory statement. Now, wasn't he saying he's the same guy on and off the screen?
No, hold on. No, what he said is, have you read the 48 Laws of Power?
Yes, I have. Cover to cover. Robert Greene,
So
yes.
you know one of them is make your accomplishments seem
Easy.
effortless.
Effortless.
I hear people say, nigga, you're always traveling. Because people think I make my money
From
the
this,
mic.
yeah.
And I want them to think that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just talking about, where I want to mislead people. So I want people to
You know,
keep
when you know
thinking
how
that.
fun that gets until ACC or DEC is at your door.
Oh, yeah, no,
because
they
they'll be
get-
wondering, like, why is Elson living
No,
this life
no, but that's-
off the podcast?
But that's the thing, though, is when they come, guess what I'll give them? Fucking receipts.
But they'll inconvenience you because you have to go back and forth,
Oh, no,
investigation.
that I don't mind.
You don't mind?
Yeah. If they allow me to document it.
But what I was
that
about
I
to
don't
say, though, is so K Plus is like the family guy, like wife, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for you, K Plus, just kid. And
For me.
Yeah. I mean, Elson, sorry. So for you, it's just your kid.
That I know of.
So you don't believe in like marriage.
No.
Why? I know it sounds like I'm doing the interview now. My bad.
I honestly...
When the hunter was the hunted, now the hunted is the hunter.
I honestly feel...
We're back to it, yeah.
I honestly feel humans are not meant to be monogamous.
I agree. 100%.
I don't think you're still in a marriage, bro.
He didn't say he was.
Well, at the beginning of the episode, he did.
No, he
Then
didn't.
the statement changed.
No, he didn't. You assumed he was.
I did say I'm married to my work.
That's what... There you go.
That was in the middle of the episode. I remember that
My
much.
wife is my work.
Right. And your PA.
I know she's.
No, I mean, like,
work.
she's part of the work, so.
Yeah. So I'm married to her through the work. Yeah.
But he never said what kind of work she does.
Gene, what does the job description look like? Should have had a mic for her. Sorry? It looks good.
I can answer for her.
Yeah.
Do you want to come to the microphone, Jin?
Ah, crap, I should have set up a microphone.
Where is it?
She's very camera shy.
Box.
Do you want to just grab the
She's not
microphone?
going to talk either way.
Okay, we'll give you a
we'll bring
mic.
a microphone.
We'll give you a mic.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you were saying you're going to describe her job.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've come to realize is, I mean, I've heard a lot of complaints from people that I'm not as available as they would want me to, in terms of maybe somebody's calling me, I'm on air. I'm on radio. Usually I don't pick up when I'm on radio. I remember you called me even when I was on
yesterday
radio.
we had an issue, yeah. The whole
I'm
day I
like-
couldn't get through to
and
you.
I was during a break. I'm like, K Plus, I'm on radio. I'll call you back. So I get situations like that. So sometimes I have to direct some of the calls to her. But also even when I'm doing events, events get very hectic sometimes. There's so many things that are going on at the same time. So sometimes you just need somebody to help you. You need somebody to help you.
And
So
From
wait,
what I
is
see-
she, is she there the whole time? When you're reading the news, is she nearby? When you're on radio, is she nearby?
Her work does not have anything to do with Diamond or Phoenix.
I was about to ask who pays her, you or Diamond?
No. So that's from me. That's from me.
You and I've just
Yeah, but is she there with,
know.
I asked because do your clients have her number?
Some do.
Okay.
Some do. Because again, I've noticed this
Do
thing
you want to
about.
be his client?
No.
I've noticed
trying-
that some clients just want to have like a direct access to you. I've noticed this in Zambia where they feel like it's arrogant if you give them
Your PA's
your
number?
PA's number or
I've got
so
a
they want
manager.
direct access.
I've noticed, especially the corporates, when they call me asking for a musician's number and I send it to them, guaranteed a minute later they'll call me back saying,
Yeah,
why am I being directed to a manager? I want to talk to your maps himself.
exactly. That happens a lot in Zambia. We struggle with that actually. Very few people are able to understand and say, oh, you can have a manager or a PA. So they want to talk directly to you. So maybe for business sake, I let them communicate with me directly. But if I'm unavailable at that time, then I'll let somebody else do it.
And she's got really thick fingers. So
She's actually very smart. She's very smart.
she might not need you if you keep pissing her off. You didn't catch that. It's okay. You didn't catch that.
You were saying?
Yeah.
Now, can we move on from her now? I think we've spoken about it too much.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wanted to find out. K plus. If you had to give advice to somebody about marriage, what would you say?
It's the toughest question I've ever been asked on a podcast, bro. Advice.
Because I'm trying to drive to something.
Marry a friend. It helps when you relate with this person more than just as a wife. Because, you want to have fun with this person. And there's something that just kills friendships. Or there's a way that our minds just kill that friendship when we get married. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know where that goes. All of a sudden, she wants to treat you a certain way. You want to treat her like a wife because of the lessons. I think it's because of the lessons that we go through before marriage. They sort of break that friendship and you start seeing each other a certain way. I'd really love if that relationship could continue into marriage as well. All of a sudden...
So, dude, here's a follow-up. Not that it happened to you, but I'm now just thinking...
Right.
So what happens if you get a girl pregnant first? Because now you don't have the luxury of, so she's a friend, I'll marry her in a year or two. She's pregnant now.
And you marry her then.
And so do you advise people to marry somebody because she's knocked up?
No.
I would say no as well,
No.
because I've been down that road before.
Right.
I've been down that road before where, I mean, because you got somebody pregnant.
And the responsible in quotes thing to do is to marry the person.
Yeah.
Which the two things have got nothing to do
And
with
it's got a name. It's called what? Marriage of convenience, right?
Right. Because being a good husband and a good father are two different things.
But I mean, I understand why people also say that. It's because the truth is children are raised better in a solidified home.
However, kids would rather be from a broken home than live in one. Because if you two do not get along, the constant fighting that is happening between you two
Affects them negatively,
is
terribly.
worse than if you lived apart.
But
So if they're from a broken home, then they live in one where they see you constantly fighting, because kids pick up on energy.
Yeah, and I respect people who just make a decision and say, well, again, I say this to a certain extent when I say people who decide to make amends because of their child. The others again who stay in toxic relationships because of the child.
Right.
And somebody's being abused, they're being beaten every day, and they say it's because I want my
I'm
child
sticking
to
around
be.
for my child.
Then there's a problem. But the people who say, you know what, you want your child to be like this. This happened with my eldest daughter, because I was in that situation with my eldest daughter, and I thought about it. And my father once told me about this story about himself when he was advising me, like, are you sure you don't want to get married? And he explained a story to me where my eldest brother, he was not married to my mother at the time, but he had a child with her. And then he told me a story where he was saying one time he went to see his son and he was not happy with the way his son was looking, and how he was looking compared to the other kids.
Sheesh.
And he says, yeah, no, I need to raise my son in my home and call the shots how I want him to be.
Right.
And that's how he said, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do this marriage thing. And he had 5 other kids later. So I think about that and I understand him now. I understand him more, because when you have a child with a woman you're not married to, and you don't have custody of that child, anything can happen. And you don't have direct control over some of those things. So you sometimes think about it and you want to keep the child in it. But the best thing here is to have a child when you're married. That's why I think
Ideally.
Ideally, it should be
Yes.
like that to avoid all these situations.
Yeah.
So that's why, I mean, I do advocate for it, but at the same time, I advocate for if the situation is toxic, you just need to leave. I think that's the only difference is how you can know that, okay, now it's toxic. Because sometimes love blinds people.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be going through something and you feel like, okay, maybe the person will change. Maybe things will change, and they don't. So it becomes a big problem. And yeah, I mean, it's difficult. And that's why I decided to ask you guys, what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have one side of, you have one thought about it. He has another. And it's still working out well for both of you, isn't it?
I'm happy.
So, Elson, you don't plan to at all?
Look, I haven't ruled it out.
No woman. Also, I wonder how Elson survives. Like, I don't know if we follow the podcast's thoughts, it sounds like Elson brings a lot of women and chicks to his house.
No, I used to.
You used to. Yeah. And none of them convinced you to, none of them try to lock you down. What type of ladies do you meet who understand their role? They're there for a good time, not a long time.
They've tried. They've tried.
How do you tell them? Please give me some tips. How do you cut them off?
Come to one of my games nights. I host epic games nights.
When's your next one?
Not this weekend, but the weekend after.
I want to see that because...
Come through.
That's much because the way this gender is built.
Bruh, it's... yeah, it's... Look, I haven't ruled it out completely. Someday I will. And if I don't actually get married, I will probably have a life partner.
Like Oprah Winfrey.
Like Oprah. Yeah. Because why should I involve the government in my relationship?
Thank you. I agree with you 100% on that. Yeah. But I mean, others say it's sometimes maybe more advantageous for the person who has a lower financial status in the relationship, because if you don't involve the government, whatever you two build together while you're together might not be shared equally, because family will come through and say
it can, because this is
hey, you're not even his wife.
No,
don't say that.
It can, because that's where trust comes in.
Unless maybe maybe like will or something. I didn't understand the legal side of things. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like trust, like you trust each other.
A trust. Create a trust.
Oh yeah.
Donate those things into the trust and give specific instructions of what happens in the event of a divorce, in the event of a death, or whatever it is. So, look, marriage does not guarantee that you're not going to break up.
True.
If you look at the stats of divorce in Zambia alone,
yeah.
I've always talked about this dating site called Ashley Madison.
Oh crap! I saw the documentary last night.
Have you heard about Ashley Madison?
No, I haven't.
Ashley Madison is a dating site for married people. So if you're married and you wanna anonymously have an affair with somebody else who's married, you go onto this site. Do you know how many members it had? Nearly 40 million married people were there.
That's like a quarter of the American population.
But there are some there's some couples who believe in like experimenting for the sake of fun. Like there's some couples who believe that, hey, I'm Elson with my wife and we're trying to make our relationship spicy. So let's try you having sex with somebody else.
They're called swingers.
But the question is,
K-Plus, would you do that?
No.
He would, but I don't think his wife would.
Dude, remember? Dude, who?
See what you did there.
There's a story I shared. I can't remember the name I gave, of a comedian who was trying the swinging thing out with his wife. And then he saw his wife being banged.
It was Kevin Hart who spoke of that story.
Oh, yeah. And then he sees his wife being banged. She's screaming louder than she's ever screamed with him.
Guy was traumatized. Because in his mind, the other girl, his friend's girl, looked hot. So in his mind, I'm going to smash this girl because she's... Yeah. But what he did not anticipate was the bazooka that nigga was carrying.
On his wife, bruh.
On his wife.
says, I saw my wife scream louder than she has ever screamed with me.
Yo.
And the marriage was torn from that day on.
Would you try that?
No, I would never try that.
No, you're too jealous.
I actually think I'm a very jealous and protective partner.
I would never.
So you want
Ever.
your present to yourself only?
Only.
Does the reverse also apply?
With my work? Yeah, my work is quite
no. I'm
protective.
saying if you've got a partner,
Oh, okay.
can she expect you to not be with anybody else?
Yes. And that's one thing I've also struggled with. Again, even in my relationships, I've struggled with this so many times where I'm believed to be
Here we go again.
a cheater, a
Yeah,
womanizer.
because you're in media.
Yeah, I've
you're in
experienced this
media.
before. And I didn't even respond to this earlier. You asked about like the perks. I didn't say about some of the negatives.
Yes.
I've also had those situations before where there's one time I had that's the problem with having a private number plate, because people know it, and I think I made a mistake of taking a picture in front of the car, because then now people
Everybody
know
knows
the number plate. A mistake. I'm actually thinking of changing the number plate now. But I had a situation where I was with a friend of mine, and I was dropping him off. It was after like a night out, and I was dropping him off, and he had some females with him, right? But some of them were his workmates, and we were going to drop them off, and we stopped. I stopped somewhere. I think I stopped somewhere. I can't remember what I was going to get, but where I stopped, and I'm in the store, right? Then one of the girls comes running and says, hey, there's some guys who came through and they're taking pictures of us in the car. I'm like, okay. I was thinking, should I go? But I'm like, if I go, I'll be in the photos as well, and in case this goes on social media. So I'm like, and I'm so stressed about all of this. And eventually I go back, we drive off, drop everybody off. I get home, and I'm the following day I'm at the office, because I think it was a Sunday. It was a
Right.
Saturday to Sunday.
Right.
And then on Monday I'm at the office, and I receive pictures from my wife, and she's telling me about these photos came to me. Somebody sent these photos to me. You had chicks and women all over the vehicle.
Try defending that.
So, you have situations like that where, because of that, people know you, and even worse, if your relationship is public. I mean, for me, the relationship I've had with Mwiza Zulu, for example, has been very, very public. People have been able to see that. So people will always have their own understanding of things, and it's kind of also weighed in on our private lives.
Wait, who's Mwiza Zulu?
So Mwiza Zulu is she is daughter. You know Michael Zulu?
Oh, right,
And Sister
right.
D?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Elson, you might not know them, but they're legendary
Legends,
Zambian artists.
reggae, Bob Marley
Michael
lookalike.
Zulu has been like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, reggae
Reggae
artists.
artist.
in
So,
the
so
country.
were you dating that female?
Sorry,
Were you dating that female?
we've got a child together.
Okay.
My second child is with Mwiza.
I'll tell you the craziest thing that happened to me. I go to, you know the story. I go to an event,
Yeah.
and somebody walks up to me. I'll tell you what the conversation was. They liked the podcast, so we spoke for less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Somebody took a photo. I don't even know this person's name. And the photo ended up being sent to the husband. And I started getting calls. And this guy's accusing me of having a thing with his wife. So I said to this guy, he called me at 6 in the morning. So I said to this guy, who's your wife? This guy gets pissed off, starts hurling insults. So then I hang up. Let me show you the text that I get.
Okay. This should be.
How you just keep all this evidence on your phone? Wait, this was today?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
Wait. I don't. Let me explain that again. So,
So for whatever reason, because
Because it's a picture of you.
he went and so I don't know where he found my photo. Says, I know you. I know where you live.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
crap, I remember the story.
You remember the story?
Yeah. Man, you've been through it.
You know, that's the thing. And to be honest, I you know, with relationships,
Yeah.
you know, one of the disadvantages of people knowing who you're dating is people can easily cook up stories. I've had situations before where somebody comes to, and this has happened before, somebody will go to your partner and say all sorts of things about you, a lot of which, I mean, are false, but this is like almost trying to bring you and your partner's relationship down. And when they see like things are not going very well between you and your partner, they now start texting you. So it's almost like it's like a divide and conquer situation.
Yes.
Like, okay, let me divide these two.
Yeah.
They separate,
And then I conquer Chimweka.
and then I'm gonna be with this person. And that's one of the biggest problems I have with people publicly knowing who you're dating. I feel like it becomes that. Sometimes even if your woman is out chilling, you agreed, you already know, but people want to let you know all the time. Hey, bro, I've seen your madam is here. She's here. Sometimes she could be with her cousin. She's with some guy like this, huh?
Oh, that's my brother.
So you get a lot of that, and I feel like that affects a lot of relationships.
I know.
You'll probably say, hey, I've seen Chimweka with some chick, not knowing that's his PA.
My brother here lives that nightmare every single day. He doesn't like to talk, so I'll talk on his behalf.
Allow me to enjoy my salad.
He
So you're
goes
relating
through
with that, right?
BS every single day. I feel sorry for your wife, man.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges you experience when you're married in entertainment.
Yeah, true. Can you leave me alone?
So you also go through that K+. No,
let
man.
me
I feel
enjoy
like
my
that's
salad.
one
Let me
of
tell,
the
let me tell you
things.
something. One day I'm gonna write a book, bro.
Let me enjoy my salad.
I would switch the names in my book, but
To protect the guilty.
it'll be a very juicy ass book.
I had a friend by the name of Chilenga, and he used to. That's gotta be Elson's book.
Man,
I'd like
it's
to buy
crazy.
that one.
Dude, have you? This dropped yesterday. I know this will probably air. Did you see the video of Diddy
Oh, I
that
hear,
got released?
Beating up
yeah.
Cassie.
I've not seen the video, but I've been seeing a lot of stories about him.
You have
haven't you?
not seen the video,
No, I haven't seen the video.
That was
Don't.
savage, bro.
man.
But he kicked her by the elevator there.
He kicked it twice.
The guy's a savage,
Sheesh, man. Now he's done.
Yeah, because that's what everybody's saying. Like, hey, Diddy's done.
Nah, it's done. There's no coming back. She can't press charges because it's a little too late now. But if Chris Brown to this day is still paying for what he did to Rihanna, nah, he's done for. That was despicable.
Wait, dude. So the out-of-court settlement, the money they gave Cassie, was for that beating, right? That particular beating, right?
Everything that she narrated. But the reason why she can't press charges is because it's out of the statute of limitations.
Yeah. I mean, she already benefited from the out-of-court settlement, right?
Not only that, but even if she wanted to, she can't because it's too old now.
You know, one of the biggest challenges we have when situations like this happen, for us radio people, you don't know whether you should still play these people's music. Like, you know, there's a whole like cancel R. Kelly thing.
I would. I still listen to
And you know, R. Kelly, let's be honest, despite what he did, he's still got amazing songs.
Let me tell you, bro.
I remember
Let me tell
Switcher.
you, R. Kelly didn't rape me. All right, I still listen to his music. I can't separate the artist
From the art.
from the art.
I remember DJ Switcher playing an R. Kelly song at Granddaddy's, and
Yeah.
I've seen how nuts Twitter went.
Twitter
It
gets
had to be
like
Twitter.
that, yeah.
I mean, the Facebookers were okay
yeah,
with
no,
it. You know what I mean?
Facebookers will be.
It's okay. It's
I've
music.
said this before that I feel like people wake up, they themselves are not offended by things that are done or said. They wait to be told by other people what to be outraged about. Oh wait, so today are we being pissed off for Chimweka calling Chile one? All right, cool. I'm on the bandwagon.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. But they themselves, they couldn't care.
But you know what's interesting about that, and what I've noticed is people do that a lot online, but in person, of course, they won't have the courage to express that
Not
anger
only that,
or that.
The fact that people are banned in numbers, I've always lived by the philosophy that the wisdom of a mob is directly proportional, is inversely proportional to its intelligence.
The bigger the mob, the less intelligence there is.
The
in
less
it.
intelligent they are.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen how people act when they're in the back of a lorry? And it's like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
They begin cursing people out. They are chucking stuff out of the car. Separate them.
It works in so many ways when people are in like groups. It's very easy for people to do things when they're in a group and
Absolutely.
you get isolated
That
and you
mob
have to face
psychology.
things. Yeah, and I think it's a big problem. I mean, and when I also got to realize that more was, for example, with the whole disciplinary committee, your maps.
Yeah.
Man would still go and perform, and people are losing their minds when he performs. Even just recently, I was emceeing an event in Kabwe where it was a day after he released the song Bateva Yahweh.
Yeah.
People were saying the song was a flop.
And yet?
And then he got on stage, and I was telling Kandeke backstage, I'm like, how come? I thought people said that
This song is a flop.
it's a flop. So I had to, that's when I took a video, and I shared that video, I think the following day, and you know, it had a lot of engagement, but like, you know, people. So you get to see that happen a lot for a number of people where, but again, people sometimes can express their anger. I've also seen people I'm emceeing where I introduce this person, hey, make some noise for K+, and people start booing this person and throwing bottles. So it works, sometimes it happens, but from what I've observed, the most part, people will say a lot of things online that they can't say in person, and in person, people want to show love.
Keyboard warriors.
I don't know if it's hypocrisy. Or
Keyboard
I don't
warriors.
know what I can really call that, but it happens. I think I've seen that a lot.
We're losing lights. Chimweka, any question that you expected we're going to ask you? And
No, we're good. No. Okay.
Go, but are we good? You were telling me that we're running out of light.
How long have we been running?
About an hour 40.
No, we're so good. There's a lot that we left on the table. Who was
Have
your
we?
most
We can
interesting?
still-
Yeah,
we
of
can
course.
still
Who
go,
was
we
the
can
most
still go.
interesting guest that you've had so far on the table?
Most interesting, you know, there's certain guests where sometimes I just wish I'm like, if I had like if That Said podcast would have had this happening for 2 hours because you have so many questions. That happened recently with Pompey because Pompey and I had a whole back and forth over the whole gambling and what was it? The gambling, because he was more of gambling should be
Bands.
should be regulated better and
I
whatever,
agree.
and I was more of, but why don't you want to talk about alcohol? Why don't people want to talk about alcohol? Is it because of, like, why? I don't understand that. People are scared to talk about alcohol, but when we look at it, alcohol actually has more effects and consequences. I'll say that while I have my drink, but those are things that actually happen. People don't want to talk about that. Not, in fact, to be honest, not even the president, because the president, he's been a bit clear about how he feels about gambling and betting. But
Chimweka,
if alcohol brands, for example, Zambian Breweries invite him to officiate, which he has done before, he will go there.
Chimweka, you know what it is? I agree. I don't have a dog in this fight, and I never really listened to the full debate. But just on the surface, I agree with Pompey in terms of
The bucket.
Hope you didn't kick the bucket.
I did, actually.
In terms of gambling being regulated, the biggest difference between that and alcohol is gambling plays on your psyche, right? When you walk into a casino, there's a reason why in most casinos you don't see clocks. There's a reason why you
like a
don't
nightclub.
Give you free alcohol.
There's a reason why they give you free alcohol. There's a reason why there aren't windows. There's a reason why you don't bet with, like, say, actual money. They give you chips. Because if you're to put 10,000 on the table
And you see it.
you'll think twice about gambling there. So they give you chips to represent the money, and that also plays on your psyche. So that, and above all that, it is an addiction, a real addiction where people will sell their houses to gamble. They do not want to. They know it is wrong, but they cannot help themselves.
But you see where I argue that out with, again, the question of why don't people want to talk much about alcohol is because, at least with gambling and betting, you find that people who gamble or bet have actually benefited something. It's either they've received money before, Maybe they've won a house before, because when that person loses a house,
there are people who never
gained.
won anything, but the thought that they could win tomorrow or they could win the day after
Is what keeps
because
them coming
let's
back.
let's not compare the two. Hold on, let's not compare the two.
Yeah.
Let's look at each of those
And I agree.
of its own merit. Because
agree.
when you then say, "Oh, but the devil is better than a goblin," right? When you draw those comparisons, you'd be like, "Ah, okay, fine, yeah, well, but the devil was an angel at some point." Let's take a look at gambling
Yes.
on its own.
But the thing is, yeah, why do we only want to talk about gambling? That's my concern. Why is nobody talking about alcohol? Is people scared that
I hear you. I hear you.
these guys and these guys? Maybe K Plus is scared that Zambian breweries will not come on board here, or a certain beer will not advertise. Maybe that's why.
This is the
But I mean, you guys have a betting company sponsor
is
here, right?
three.
You know.
Yeah, but this is
That's another advantage. They support a lot of content creators. Almost every content creator doing well
Has a
is
betting
getting
company.
money from a betting company.
Yeah,
Which
yeah, true.
most of these content creators will not receive from anywhere else. Betting companies are the number one people to support content creators. So
and
that's a plus.
this is why I get on this microphone and I tell people that they should know what they're getting into. Right? I forgot the point that I was trying to make when it came to gambling, because there was a point that I was trying to get across.
But yeah, you spoke about addiction. You spoke about. Okay, maybe you remember it along the way. But I agree that betting has had so many dangers and effects on people. But I don't know if you've been following this in the news and when this will air, but there was a big story about a locally brewed beer in Southern Province. It's called Chijawa. As we are talking right now, the death toll has increased to 12 people who died. So this is made out of methylated spirit, shoe polish.
Shoe
is
polish?
different.
People actually swallow this.
Yeah. So, and if it's cachaça, let's not talk about that. Junta, there's been this whole campaign against rising above junta and so on.
yeah.
So there's all these dangers.
Buddy, here's the thing. Be the person who speaks about alcohol. But then you can't dictate to him, Pompey, to say no, but also speak about this. This is what he's chosen to bring
light.
attention
And
to.
you know one of the questions I asked Pompey? Because he's performed at the Mossy Day of Thunder.
I see where this
So
is going.
what's your
That's a festival sponsored by a beer brand.
so what's your point?
So my point is, and the point at that time, he responded to it anyway, so it was, because my question was, how then are you comfortable to speak against betting or gambling, but you've never really thought about talking about alcohol, which has had, if anything, probably even longer effects than gambling or betting has in Zambia.
I don't know about the gambling institutions in Zambia.
Because it's under the Ministry of Tourism, the lotteries
No.
board,
The point that I want to
think.
make
Yeah.
is, I don't know about Zambia specifically, but in other countries, they have got a responsibility to make the public aware about the dangers of gambling.
And their taxes are extremely high.
And their taxes are extremely high, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of each ad, they are mandated to give out a toll-free line where if you know you are addicted to gambling, call this number to get help. Alcohol does that.
Cigarettes.
They tell you about the dangers of drinking when you're pregnant. They tell you about the dangers of drinking when you're below a certain age, etc. Gambling in Zambia, I've not seen that.
You see the perks of having a
PA. 2 PAs for you now. This guy.
Did you get my point though?
Yeah, I understand you. And you know, when I had the conversation with
have you
Pompey,
seen that locally from gambling companies?
to be honest, I've not seen that from the alcohol brands either.
Do you drink alcohol?
No, alcohol brands have
No,
all the
hold on.
time.
I was about to say, you drink alcohol, right? Have you read what's on the label? Of
Where
the
it says, where it
Not for
says,
sale to persons under the age of 18.
but betting companies do that as well.
So which betting company, which ad have you seen where they speak about that?
A
the
lot
top
of
of
them.
your
A
head.
lot of them. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention them
ahead,
here.
go ahead.
I've heard that with Betway. I've heard that with 1xBet. I mean, we have radio ads with them. So
Right.
they mentioned that. They mentioned that. But here's the thing, right? And here's where my concern is. Even if we do that, the same problem applies, because you might say not for sale to persons under the age of 18. But how many people actually regulate that no one below the age of 18 is consuming this alcohol. In fact, we've heard stories and statistics have shown that we have people below that age
And here's another thing.
who are consuming that.
And here's the other thing. When somebody looks like they're below...
And it's more accessible than betting or gambling is.
When somebody looks like they are underage, there's certain establishments that sell alcohol that they are not allowed to get into. You do agree, right?
But that's looking.
You do agree,
And
right? Where they
being.
ask you for an ID.
You just thought I was 36 or 32.
No, hold on. Where they ask you for an ID.
Yeah.
With betting, what verification do they take to make sure you're over 18?
I mean, they could also for the online ones. I've never placed a bet before, so I wouldn't know how it works online. But there's also the walk-in stores. They could apply the same thing.
Let's talk about the online.
For the online ones, I'm not sure how exactly that works, but I know that
They don't. It's just like porn. They ask you, are you over 18? You say yes. All right, cool. You can gamble.
But you do realize there's also places where that happens. In fact, when was the last time you went to a liquor store and
I
they
don't.
asked?
I don't drink.
In fact, parents today can send their child who is below the age of 18 go buy beer for them.
And those two should be shut down.
So exactly my point. So
Those two.
So
But my
yes,
point
yes,
is this.
the
My point is
nightclubs
this.
will be specific,
My
but liquor
po-
stores won't.
My point is this.
Today, even grocery stores at the corner are selling
Look,
alcohol.
I totally agree. I'm not here to defend
Yeah,
liquor
yeah.
stores, right? Or alcohol. My point is this. If he chose to bring light to gambling, that is what he chose.
Yeah.
We then cannot say to him, but there are underage girls who are being raped. Why aren't you talking about them? Or there's alcohol.
You know what my argument was with him? He
Yeah.
said betting and gambling is getting preferential treatment. And I said, wait, what? What about alcohol?
No, but Elson's point is if you're a climate change advocate,
Yes.
you can't then be brought into a conversation about drugs. You know what I mean?
But
So you're dragging Pomp into alcohol when he's advocating
speak to
against...
him about that, of
Yeah.
the merits of gambling.
And-
because when you introduce something else,
Yeah.
he cannot speak to it because he doesn't know. When he speaks about gambling being getting different treatment, that is what his experience has been.
And by the way, him and I had a long chat, even after the interview was done. And in the interview, we overran for like 1 hour, 40 minutes. And because of TV, we had to package it into like 45, 50 minutes. Imagine how hard that was. But we had a long chat about it. And we really talked about it. I mean, there's certain things that we agreed to disagree and so on. But from how I see things, to be honest, I think alcohol has more dangers than betting. And I think it's easier for people to talk about betting because you probably would get even support from the president.
So be the president to take it up then about the alcohol.
I mean, I consume alcohol, so I right now I'd be a hypocrite.
He chose his hill to die on.
So for him, he doesn't take both. He doesn't subscribe to both. He doesn't consume alcohol. He doesn't bet.
I don't gamble. I don't take alcohol. I don't have a dog in this fight.
So you think they're like at the same level? Would you advocate for alcohol to be banned or to be better regulated?
Better regulated.
Same as betting.
I don't. The minute that you now get into the conversation about banning stuff,
Yeah.
that's a slippery slope. Because it is now, who are you now giving that mandate to? Because now people are now, and it doesn't stop there. Because now people are going to be banning whatever they think is or has detriment to people. So I feel like it is a very dangerous door that once you open it, it will not stop with alcohol.
Yeah, but he gave me a very good example. He says, look at how tobacco smoking is regulated in Zambia, because you never see a cigarette ad.
But it's not just Zambia though. That's all over the world.
Exactly. But you will see a betting company ad even in the news. You will see an alcohol ad in the middle of a sports game. In fact, probably even during the sports game, they score, you're going to see what we call a squeeze back on TV of an alcohol brand. It's right there, and the kids are watching like, oh, okay, this is what it is. So maybe we should advocate for both. But anyway, story for another day.
I don't know about advocate, but better regulated, absolutely.
Oh, by the way, speaking of alcohol, did you guys know that today is World Whiskey Day?
No.
Sips is whiskey.
You do have the face of a drunk though.
What bad it is.
I have a theory to that, right? My mother also at some point thought I'd take a lot of alcohol.
Was she right?
And I was explaining to her because I started taking alcohol when I was still under their roof, and I would never hide it. I would never hide it, but I explained to her. I said, look, I spend Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday, you rarely catch me with a drink. Unless maybe it's someone's birthday. And even then, because now I do breakfast shows, so I can't stay up late. By 19 hours, I need to be home and asleep by 21. So during the week, but Saturday is my favorite day of the week because that's when I'll be in shorts like this. I'm unwinding, I'm with my friends. So that's
with your PA.
If I'm coming for an interview like this, yeah. So Saturday is my day of
Leisure.
Leisure, yes, thank you for that. And Sunday is like mostly rest, family, and so on. So I pretty much just have like one day when I would take my whiskey. So I don't know if that qualifies me to be a drunk.
No, it doesn't. Who's the worst guest that you've had?
Worst guest? Whoa.
When you laughed, a name popped up in your head. Say it.
Okay, I wouldn't say worst, but maybe just the timing was right. One thing I've noticed about my interviews in the last 6 months, to answer your question, is the certain things that happen. I'll have an interview with a guest, and things that we've talked about with that guest get to happen. For example, the time Kadochi was a rumor that he broke up with his girlfriend. I don't know if you ever came across that. Do you know Kadochi?
I've stopped answering these questions.
Oh, the younger dude.
Yes. So there was a big story. It was trending at the time that it was over with his girlfriend. And guess what? I had an interview with him like a month before that, and we spoke about something like, what would you do if you broke up with your girlfriend? How would life be? And I shared it. Chela Tokuta had an interview with him where I said,
yeah, but
if you got fired, what would your life be after you get fired? He's like, yeah, no, I'll still survive. I've got my cameras. And then he got fired. And then I shared the interview again, like it's been happening. Yomaps recently, people are like, yeah, no, Yomaps can't control his wife. And I shared an interview where he was talking about how he speaks with his wife. So I'm like, it's so interesting. I've talked about all these things before.
And they come to pass.
And they come to pass, and I share them. So to answer your question,
can you prophesy money into our
hold
lives
on. Before you do that, see, the people that you're talking to and what you prophesy is almost like if I'm to speak to Ruth Ronnie and say, do you think you would lose your mind if a sex tape was to come out? No, her behavior. So there's you when you speak to Kadochi, you've already seen the kind of way that the girl moves.
Yeah.
That she acts like a. So it's not too far-fetched for you to ask him that. It's not too far-fetched to ask Chela to say if you got fired because of the way that he's loose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can ask you to say, oh, would it be a scandal? Listen to this. I can ask him to say, would it be a scandal if one day we found out that you're having sex with your PA? The signs are there. The signs are there.
I mean that's a good one. That's a good one, Elson.
Yeah. So to answer the question, what's guest?
So I mean, there's a time I had FJ, and we had a conversation about so many things, but then I felt the timing wasn't right. I felt like the timing wasn't. I said if we, and sometimes maybe I don't know if you guys go through that. So you feel like okay, maybe let's have this interview a bit later. And then there was a point where I think he said something about B-Flow and whatever. And I'm like, and this was maybe like almost like 2 months after we recorded that. So at the time, it felt like, okay, this conversation is really, is not going as desired.
Right.
But we kept it, and there's a point when that interview made sense. And yeah, so I think because I'm very deliberate about my guests. Mm-hmm. So it's very rare for me to have a very, very bad guest.
Is that why you've never had us on your...
When I was saying my team that will be coming here, there's so many ideas. They're like, can we do like a syndicate thing? Can we
platforms?
Like, can you also have them so it airs it? I'm like, I don't know what time. I mean, they have days when they air their shows, so you don't want to inconvenience them.
You've not had us for a reason.
No, but I've still interviewed you guys before.
Not on the table.
And you know what? It's actually a plan for this week.
Oh, bullshit.
Let's do it.
No joke.
Nah,
no joke. In fact, because what we do is before I have a guest, my colleagues help me out with some questions. Some things I don't know. To be honest, I don't always follow some of this social media drama.
Yeah, like
People
I don't know about the Kadochi issue.
Yeah, I mean, certain things I'm just saying, oh, Auntie Millie did this. Oh, this person did this. I'm just like, what? But then they'll tell me like, oh, this is what's going on. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was told some very interesting things about Elson. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's have Elson and K Plus on the show.
You were told interesting things about me?
Yeah.
Like what?
We'll save that for my show.
No, say one thing. I'll still come on your show. I want to hear this. Say one thing that you heard about me.
Is it true that Elson has been at a number of orgies?
No, it's not.
It's not true.
Yeah. I've heard about that, though.
K Plus, is it true?
Let's save this for the episode.
But you've heard about it, right?
I've heard about it.
I never heard about it.
Table.
I never heard about it. I'm told. I'm like, wait, what?
I heard about it. Well, it depends on what you call an orgy.
Yeah.
Guys, the last question, Elson.
Why? You got somewhere to be?
Gob is giving me signs we're losing light.
Are we losing light?
Very much so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We don't. What's interesting is that my name means light or glitter.
Oh, serious?
Chimweka, something that shines.
That's why you're light skinned guy.
Yeah, that's what I was actually lighter than this when I was born.
Oh, right.
In fact, when I was born,
Your father suspected
my
something?
my father thought my mother could have been
Cheating?
yeah, because
Why
I was
is your
super
dad
light.
not light-skinned?
But funny enough, he was when he was younger. So I'm thinking maybe I'll be dark when I'm older because he
You're
was-
already older.
no, when I'm older than I am now.
So, Mark,
Because
is there any-
I think he maybe got darker in his 40s, 50s, somewhere there. So yeah.
Okay. Is your dad still around?
Yeah, he is.
What's your relationship like? You guys young? Still, are you guys close?
You know, yeah, we are to a certain extent. I think I'm closer to my mother, which I think is
Like
very
most
popular.
sons?
Yeah, like most sons. Because I mean, when I go to see my mom, I even know, like sometimes I have to park the car outside because I have to be like, hey, I have to go because when I meet her, she'll run me down. Everything has been going on in the family, and you know we have all those chats.
All right.
And I was just with her like 2 days ago. Where's my dad? I mean, my dad will have very professional conversations about work, politics. Him and I always argue about politics. So, I mean, he's got his stance about things. And then I'm just there to play devil's advocate. He's a lawyer by profession, so that gets harder.
Are they still together?
Yeah.
Because
I like how you're talking about them separately.
separately, like when I go to see your mom.
No, because usually when I go to see my mom, my dad is not around.
All right. Okay.
So because they're both retired now. But my dad still feels like he's I think like in his 20s or 30s because he's got
Just
that
like
kind
you
of
feel like you're
lifestyle.
in your 20s.
I mean, the mind never gets old, so.
I mean, yeah, he's probably right now he's like probably like playing golf or something. You know, he's also a whiskey. So I need to call him actually because today is whiskey day. So
Does he also have a PA?
I actually do not know, eh?
Okay.
Chimweka.
I do not know.
Before people only start seeing our teeth in our eyes, let me ask this. Our last question. Is there anything that you felt or expected that we're going to ask you, but we haven't asked you so far?
I think I know where you got that from.
No, just answer the question.
I
right? Let's start
remember
history lessons
DJ
here.
Fresh asked that question to Steve Harvey. And he's just like, is there anything that you really haven't been asked? Like interviews you've done?
Now, that's the nigga that goes to orgies.
DJ Fresh or Steve Harvey?
I remember Skumba. Remember the roast of.
He says he's addicted to sex.
Yeah, he has
I
opened.
mean, he looks like his
But he has sex every day.
type.
But
too.
that's the only way you can avoid prostate cancer.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Release.
I think I need to.
Have more sex.
Yeah.
Hey, Jin.
Find me somebody to do it with. Yeah.
The question,
What was I?
What didn't we ask you? that you hope we'd
I
ask
think
you?
I was expecting a bit on like financing in the media space. I was expecting a question around
Like, are
that.
you making money from the media space? You expected that?
Oh, is there money in the media space?
Now
Because
we've
that's-
asked other media people that question. so-
Yeah.
Do you think there is?
I think there is.
Are you making it?
I mean, it drives the product, so.
But I do think there's money in the media.
I think so too.
Are you making it?
I mean, money is relative. Money never gets enough.
In your opinion?
I would like to make more money. I would love to make more money. So I've not reached a point where I'm like, I'm making all the money that I can. I feel like I can always make more money.
Do you have plans to start your own thing, like a replica of On the Table, but that is Chimweka and not under?
At the time I was about to quit my job, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of doing something of my own. But I still have, I mean, I can't say now. I mean, some people do know, but I mean, I can't say now. But there's a very, very, I do that. I have, one of my businesses is I've got a media house going on. So, yeah, the people I've done business with at that level probably know about it, but I mean, I don't exactly like people knowing that I'm part of the people behind that.
Great.
So so I mean, I do have something, but the good thing is, I think both my employers know. People at
both your employer, okay, cool.
Yeah, at Phoenix and Diamond.
Yeah.
In fact, they're sometimes even my clients.
And there's no conflict.
I mean, it's not. I mean, we found a way of. I mean, there've been times where Costa come in his office and say, "Hey, what's going on? What's this about?" But we found a way of synergizing that, and we write off each other here and there. So I do benefit. Some of my clients also go onto Diamond or Phoenix, and vice versa. So we found a way of making it work. So yeah. So to answer your question, I do think there's money in media, and that's why sometimes I get sad when people leave media and say, you know what, I'm going to corporate world, especially when they leave, like when I feel like I still have more to give. There's some people I've heard, like, I mean, I'll be very honest, like Amina, I feel like Amina is very talented, and
I believe so.
And she has more to give in the media space, and that's why, I mean, I was it kind of hurt me a bit that she said I'm hanging my boots now. Or what do you call it in media? Boots is like football mostly. But anyway, figuratively, it's all across. That she's now going to the corporate world. So, yeah there's that. And also, I mean, I thought you guys would also ask a lot about my relationship. But it's good because...
Are you dating right now?
I really...
Are you dating?
I really
Are you dating?
was trying to avoid talking about that.
Are you dating?
I was really avoiding talking about that.
Are you dating? No, that's not my last question. Are you dating?
I'm married to my work, yeah.
Do you have a female in your life that you're romantically involved with?
I mean, I do call work my wife. It's like Zambia is female, you
like
know that?
Human female.
It's like Mother Zambia.
Human female.
Mother, you know?
Human female that you're romantically involved. Well, let me not even say female. Is there a human that you're romantically involved
You know what I mean? You can be restricting in there.
Oh, man.
It's 2024.
It comes off a lot, especially again. Why do light-skinned people go through a lot?
Can you answer the question?
So the question is?
Is there a person that you're romantically involved with?
Either male or female.
At this point, I cannot answer that question.
Why not?
Because I need to. There's a lot of consultation that needs to be done.
From who? From her? Or him?
It's so many people.
Is she married? You have to ask her husband first?
Because you know, when you talk about relationships, there's always families involved. Whether somebody's just gotten divorced, somebody just gotten married, sometimes even a relationship, there's always families involved, just like a mere relationship.
Chimweka.
This guy's smashing a lot of chicks. This is what I just heard from this.
Actually, I can tell you, Elson, that's far from the truth. Like I told you, if I ever have to, even if I'd ever have to cheat, I'll probably just have like one other female in my life. That's it. I personally, I don't have the time to have like multiple.
Mm-hmm. So you only have one right now.
The most I can have, probably like, even if I had to think of the thought of cheating, is maybe just one other person and
so you got multiple. 2 right now.
The question is, do I even have one?
Is the question.
Moment?
The answer is yes.
Question. Oh, you think so?
Because you didn't say no.
I mean, it depends on how you interpret it, but I can neither confirm or deny.
Chimweka, thanks a lot for coming to the podcast and wishing you all the best on the table and whatever other projects you're working on.
So you guys coming on the show?
Yeah, we'll come through. We'll come through. And you can answer that OG question, Elson, properly.
I already did.
No,
Why do you want to go to an OG?
Is that part of your game night? Is it like, does it happen at your game night?
No.
Remember to click on subscribe to the next episode.
Like
have a lovely day.
Would you want to go to one?
Can I come with my PA?
No. She's not my type.
Dun 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 dun